Hey y'all. Hey, how are y'all? Hello. How is everybody? I hope you had a great weekend, a great week. I feel like I haven't seen y'all in forever. It's been forever. So it is nice to be back, and Ida cleanup is still going on, but it's so much better. I mean, for 2 weeks you could not go to the store and find anything. It's ridiculous. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, and I usually do true crime, addiction recovery, and pretty much anything else I feel like talking about. And I always have my little sidekick right here, Miss Cocoa Bean. And you know, they told me she was a Chihuahua, but I think she's half pig because she grunts, and she's gonna be grunting the whole time in this video, which I'm coming back to y'all with kind of a heavy topic. What I did was I got requests in the comments, I got them in my email, I got them DM'd to me. So I took them by date and time, and I just did a list, and you know, whoever came first, like, I'm just going in order of which I received them. So thank you, by the way, for those requests, because it makes it a lot easier to come up with topics. And this one came up so many times. I really felt like it needed to be first, even though it wasn't the first. It was like second or third. It came up a lot, so I think we need to talk about it. And that is addiction. Alcoholism, addiction to any drug, substance abuse. That's what we're going to talk about today. And first, let me say, because I don't want y'all thinking, you know, because I'm all smart and funny and everything. No, I'm just kidding. I am not a medical doctor. I am not an addiction specialist. I am just somebody who had an addiction to drugs at an earlier time in my life, went through the misery that was drug addiction, hurt everybody around me, disappointed everybody around me, pushed everybody away, was so ashamed, felt so much guilt. I've been sober for over 10 years. So in that time period, I have constantly been doing research on addiction, whether it's alcohol, opiates, meth, any caffeine, nicotine, anything. But today we're going to be talking about alcohol and drugs. Y'all know my stories of me, you know, my addiction, my arrest, just all the dumbass stuff I did. Y'all already know about that. And if you don't, go watch it. I'll link the playlist in the description box. So, as long as there are people out there who are still struggling with substance abuse, whether that be alcohol or drugs. When I say substance abuse or addiction today, we're talking about both alcohol and drugs. Any kind, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's opiate, meth, heroin, what, if it's a drug, I'm talking about it today. Alcohol and drugs. We gonna loop that into substance abuse. So, as long as there's people struggling, I'm gonna talk about it, because it shouldn't be tiptoed around. It shouldn't be swept into a closet like a big family secret. It should not. There are 27 million Americans who have a substance abuse disorder. Do you know how many out of those 27 million seek treatment? $4 to $6 million. That's sad. I don't like that. I want it to be 27 million people that seek treatment. And she's snoring, so don't think I'm trying to slip boots there, y'all. But anyway, so I want to bring attention and awareness to substance abuse, because I want people to feel comfortable seeking help. I want people to feel comfortable talking to somebody that they love about substance abuse. I want the stigma gone. I want it gone. People are people, and it doesn't matter your age, sex, race, financial status. Anybody can have a substance abuse problem. Anybody. So, you know, I'm not gonna hold back. I'm an open book. Y'all already know all my stories, and my mouth don't have a filter on it. So yeah, I want to just put some information out there, and just kind of I want people to feel normal talking about it, because they need. I mean, it's a huge crisis going on right now, so we need to talk about it. There was a TED Talk that I watched a couple months ago. Yeah, I love those. And I watched the ones that are like TEDx, whatever city they're in or whatever. And the one that I watched was a former Miss USA who failed a drug test for cocaine. And of course TMZ comes right out with an article, and they're calling her like Miss USA, and you know, she lost her crown. And she said what they didn't realize was that I had been struggling with substance abuse since I was 14 years old, because she went through some trauma. Just wanted to make sure I say it. Trauma, not drama. She went through some trauma. And I can't imagine 14-year-old as a child. I cannot imagine that. I just can't imagine it. But she said something that really stuck with me, and I like it. She named the title of her TED Talk, Let's Recover Out Loud. Yes, let's do that, please. Let's do that, because it needs attention. So I love that. I had to go ahead and put that in there. Let's recover out loud. Because we've all done things that we are not proud of. You know, we've all done things that we're not proud of. So one thing that I do want to say before I get started, it's been the longest intro ever, but anyway, one thing I want to say before I get started, like get into the nitty gritty, is please be kind on this video. Please don't be judgmental or hateful in the comments. Just please don't. That is not what people need. People that are struggling with substance abuse, they don't need that. They don't need to feel judged. They don't need to feel ashamed. I can promise you, they're already ashamed. They just need love. They need understanding with boundaries. That's what they need. I have one more thing to say in my intro, because we're still in the intro. Before I get started, if you clicked on this video, if you're watching this video right now and you are struggling with addiction, you are struggling with alcoholism, you have a substance abuse disorder, please watch every second of this. Just do it. Please watch every second of it, because I'm hoping that maybe you'll see that what you're doing right now isn't working. So you might want to try something else. Then after you watch this, like I said, I'll leave it in the description box. You can go and watch my stories where I tell how I went through it and went to jail and got picked up by the marshals and just the whole big old embarrassing mess that I was. So, now, let's get on to it. Okay, So on to the topic of addiction. The politically correct way to say it is substance abuse, but I'm so used to saying addiction that I'm gonna slip up, so I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know, I can't remember who requested this, and I don't know if they were struggling with addiction or they had a loved one that was struggling with addiction. I can't remember, but either one. If you are struggling, or if you love somebody who is struggling, just listen. Because when I was struggling, when I was going through what I was going through, I wish I would have had a video like this to watch. I wish I would have had somebody to talk to that had been there before. I thought that I had just messed my life up forever, and that there was just no hope, and there was no going back to the way that I used to be. Whew, that was horrible. The first, I guess, section of this is gonna be, is addiction a disease or is it a choice? And the answer to that, it's been debated forever and ever and ever, at least since the 1930s. So is it a disease or is it a choice? In 2016, November to be exact, in November of 2016, the Surgeon General made a public announcement that addiction is indeed considered a disease. It is an illness. Substance abuse disorder, that's the, when I told you that's the politically correct way to say it, it is a disease. It's a brain disease. It rewires your brain, and I'm gonna tell you how in just a minute. But it's in the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual that psychiatrists and psychologists use for criteria to diagnose certain illnesses. Okay, so it's in DSM-5 as an illness. So it's a brain disease. Okay, it's a brain disease, and genetics also play a role, and it makes a lot of sense. I went into a rabbit hole with the genetics thing because I worked in the genetics lab at LSU when I was going to school there, but it's so interesting to me. But it's not just like a single gene that determines whether or not you're going to be an alcoholic or an addict. It's like 60 to 80 different genes that determine whether or not you're going to be an alcoholic or an addict. It makes sense if you look at families. My grandfather was a raging alcoholic. He drank all the way up until he was on dialysis. I mean, it's not willpower. No amount of willpower is gonna stop somebody that has an addiction. It's just not gonna happen. There is a 40 to 60% likelihood that if you have a family member that has a substance abuse disorder, you're gonna have one. That's a high number, but like I said, it makes sense when you look at families. It does, you know, like my grandfather, and then I've had some uncles. My parents never had any. My brother's fine. I'm the black sheep. I'm the disappointment around here. I hold that crown. But I have forgiven myself, which is also possible for y'all out there watching that are feeling guilty and ashamed right now, which I don't want you to. That's why I'm talking to you, because I think it feels better coming from somebody that's been there than from somebody that hasn't. So now that we've established the fact that addiction is an illness and genetics do play a role in it, how's it start? How exactly does that start? Because I can promise you that nobody sets this as a goal. Nobody on earth is like, I think I want to be addicted to drugs. I think I want to be addicted to alcohol. I think I want to drink until I black out. Nobody. Nobody. Okay, so back in the 1930s, that's when they started researching addiction. They started investigating what causes addictive behaviors. Y'all, these researchers, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to put it in air quotes, scientists, they honestly believed that if you were addicted to drugs or alcohol, that you were just an outright horrible person with no morals, or you just didn't have any willpower. That's what they thought. That's what they thought addiction was. So they also thought, they're like, oh, well, since that's all it is, this is what we should do. We'll just punish these people until they turn into this good person that's got great morals, or they somehow just develop some really strong willpower. We're just gonna punish them until one of those two things happens. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah, after loads of research and years of technology, they finally figured out what causes it and how to treat it. Basically, to put it in perspective, I guess, when you have heart disease, it affects your heart. So you have clogged arteries, you have a heart attack, maybe, you know, if you've got diabetes, then your pancreas doesn't work correctly. I've got hypothyroidism, so guess what? My thyroid doesn't work properly. Addiction is like that in the brain. Your brain does not work properly. It completely rewires the way your brain functions. Yeah, right? Did you wake yourself up snoring? The substance goes to your reward center. It floods your brain with dopamine, and that's what's called the high. So when somebody says like getting high, that's literally what it is your brain being flooded with dopamine. So that good old dopamine, because it plays a role in reward, learning, and memory, that substance, that it's checked off like, yep, that's the one, or more, that does it for me. That really good. That really cranks my tractor. That really gets me going. The brain changes like that when it shifts in an addict. The problems stem because for an addict, for a substance user, the high is so profound of a feeling that they start to neglect their everyday responsibilities in order to use the substance. Okay. Now this is where we get down to the tough question I have to ask you, or rather what you have to ask yourself. I want you to dig deep, and I want you to be honest with yourself, and I want you to ask yourself, is this getting in the way of my everyday responsibilities? Is it interfering with work, school, relationships, any activities, anything that you would normally do? Is it interfering? Are you finding that you would rather use this substance than do anything else? Because I can tell you that's what happened with me. It became like a full-time job just to find it. I mean, I was just, that's it. That's all I did all day was just get money, go find it. Get money, go find it. Get money, go find it. The full-time job. And I was so miserable. I was so miserable. You'll see if you watch my videos, I'll tell you. I was so miserable. I would just sit on my bed at night and just be like, please don't let me, I do not want to wake up. What have I done to myself? Like, I can't. And then I'd wake up in the morning and be like, oh. So, if it has become a problem and is starting to interfere in your daily life, in your relationships, work, school, anything, then you might want to seek help, because if you seek treatment and you can start to get better and you can start to heal your brain and it'll go back to a normal brain, it will rewire itself to undo the damage. And from one addict to another, from one substance abuser to another, as hard as it is to ask for help, I know I was so ashamed. I didn't want anybody to know. I thought it was a big secret, but it ended up, it wasn't a big secret. Everybody knew. I didn't want to disappoint my parents, any of that. So from one to another, from somebody who's been there and knows the misery that it causes and the shame and the guilt and just those feelings, I'll never forget them. So from one to another, is it snoring? From one addict to another, is it worth it to keep doing what you're doing? Or would you rather maybe get some help and change your life? I know it's hard, and I know it's scary, and I know it's confusing, and that's why I'm making these videos, because of the questions that I got. So this brings us to our next section. How is substance use disorder diagnosed? Like I told y'all, it's in the DSM-5. There are 11 criteria that doctors use to define substance use disorder. And I definitely don't have those memorized, so let me get my notes. Okay. These are the 11 criteria for substance abuse disorder. This is from the DSM-5 that doctors use. Number 1, you have used the substance in ways that are dangerous to yourself and or others. Examples include you've overdosed, you've driven a car while under the influence, or you've blacked out, not remembering, you know, the night before or the day, that kind of stuff. Number 2, substance use has caused relationship problems or conflicts with others. Number 3, you have failed to meet your responsibilities at work, school, or home because of your substance abuse. Number 5, withdrawal. The worst. The worst. When you stop using the substance, you experience withdrawal symptoms. Oh, we talk about miserable. Number 6, tolerance. You've built up a tolerance to the substance so that you have to use more to get the same effect. 7, you've started using larger amounts and or you use the substance for longer amounts of time. 8, you've tried to cut back or quit entirely but haven't been successful. 9, you spent a lot of your time using this substance or looking for it. 10, your substance use has led to physical health problems such as liver damage or lung cancer, or psychological issues such as depression or anxiety. I don't think I know somebody that's actively doing drugs that doesn't have depression and anxiety. I feel like that just comes along with it. Why are these not ordered right? Why are these not in the right order? Whatever. The next one. You stop doing activities you once enjoyed in order to use your substance of choice, which can be more than one substance. Like you might want to use, like when you start drinking alcohol, you may want to go find some cocaine. I probably can't say that on YouTube, and I just did. And then the last criteria is cravings. You have experienced intense cravings for the substance. I've been there. So these criteria are what allows your doctor to determine how severe your substance use disorder is, depending on how many symptoms are identified. So if you have 2 or 3 of these, that's a mild substance use disorder. If you've got 4 or 5 symptoms, that indicates a moderate substance use disorder. If you've got 6 or more symptoms, it indicates severe substance use disorder. I had every single one of these. Every single one of these criteria. Every single one. If you can relate to that criteria, and like I said, there ain't no judgment here. I've been there. And you can DM me if you want to talk, if you have any questions. But if you meet that criteria, if you've noticed that what you're doing is affecting the people that you love, and you just you just want your damn life back. That's you're miserable and you want your damn life back. Then it might be time to go ahead and get into treatment. And there are several options for treatment. Several options. And there are also resources for people who are still actively using. And I'm gonna link a lot of resources in my description box. There are harm reduction resources, which are they'll ship you Narcan for free. They will ship you needles for free. And this is not supporting addiction. It's making sure that people are safe, making sure that people aren't dying, because Narcan will pull you out of an overdose. And if you're using dirty needles or sharing them, then you've got a chance of contracting hepatitis C or HIV. So just consider it. Consider getting help. There's so many options. And when you do decide to get help, you go to a medical detox. If you don't know about recovery and treatment, this is for people that don't know about anything about getting treatment. You'll go to a medical detox before you go to any kind of treatment, and they'll detox you for however long you need so you're comfortable and you don't go through withdrawals. It's usually like 5 to 10 days depending on, or you can, and then you would go to an inpatient treatment center, or, and this is what I did, and when I tell you it changed my life, it changed my life. Not the detox. I went the medically assisted treatment. I used Suboxone, and no cravings. It doesn't get you high. You cannot abuse it. None of that. None of that. So you've got the choice of either medically assisted treatment like Suboxone or methadone. I don't really suggest methadone because it can be abused, but you know what? I mean, I support all pathways of recovery, so I'm just saying, like, in my personal opinion, I would do Suboxone over methadone. Suboxone saved my life. What, jail saved my life too. But anyway, so you've got the medically assisted treatment, or you've got detox and inpatient. And with the detox and inpatient, so you'll go through detox and they'll detox you and they usually give you like Phenergan, Clonidine, Ativan, and Imodium. That's usually what they give you. And then you'll go straight into a 28-day program or a 60-day program, 90-day program, whatever program it is that you choose. And you'll go to meetings, like AA meetings or NA meetings. So if y'all want to know more about AA meetings or NA meetings or anything that I have talked about, or treatment, and any questions that you have, any questions whatsoever, I've been there. I have done it all. I've been through it. Really, just go watch the videos. They'll make you laugh, because I can laugh at it now. It wasn't funny then, but it's funny now. So, alright, so it's gonna do it for this video. And I just want to say that I went from the depths of hell in wanting to unalive myself because of my addiction, because of my substance use disorder, to now I have been married to my soulmate for 10 years. I have my family back in my life. I've got 4 dogs, my child. We built our dream house. I drive my dream car. I mean, it's such a difference. And I say it all the time, but God has blessed me much more than I deserve. And my goal is, I just want to give you what I have. I want you to experience the same thing. I want you to get your life back and get your brain back. And I want you to be proud of yourself. And look, I'm a felon. I had over 20 felonies, and I had great paying, I'm talking about 6-figure jobs. So don't think you can't get a job if you've been to jail because of your drug use. You can, absolutely, 100%. I am living proof. So if I can do it, I ain't got no damn willpower at all. But if I can do it, all of y'all can do it. Anybody out there that's thinking about, do it. Just do it. And you can DM me, email me. All of my stuff is down in the description box. So if you have any questions at all, I don't care what it's about, email me and I'll answer them. Or if you want me to make another video about something addiction related, which I've got another one that I do need to make. I just haven't finished doing the research on it and like how I'm going to structure it. So there may be a true crime video coming up next. But if you got anything out of this video or you liked it, give it a thumbs up, because that really does help. It helps a lot. If you don't want to miss a video, subscribe. And I won't spam y'all. I don't post but like once a week. I'm gonna try to up it to twice a week, but right now it's just once a week, so you won't be spammed with a bunch of notifications from me at all. And I don't think there's anything else I need to tell y'all except thank you for watching. And let me know if you have any questions. I will see y'all in the next video.